And welcome back to In the Cage with Bards here on nextsportstar.com. And joining us now, as promised, one of our favorite guests here on the program, the president of the Maximum Fighting Championships, here to promote MFC 36 Reality Check happening February 15th at the Shell Conference Center in Edmonton, Alberta. The Black Prince of MMA himself, Mark Pavelich, rejoins the program. How you doing, Mark?
I'm fantastic. How's everything going with you?
It's going really well. A pleasure to talk to you today. And I got to tell you, Mark, you have done it again, my friend. MFC 36 is just about the only thing that can heat up Edmonton in the dead of winter.
Listen, I'll tell you this much. People are starting to all recognize that not only we're the #1 brand of MMA in Canada, that we're one of the top 3 in the world now. And the difference is very easy to see via fighter roster, via corporate sponsors, via everything, man. We're just shinier than everybody else. And it's great to see everybody recognizing that now.
Yeah, it's a great lineup and a great birthday present for me. My birthday is actually the day before this card, and I can't think of a better way to spend it than watching the MFC.
Well, I tell you, it's funny. I was putting one championship fight on the show, and then I was sitting around going, I try to entertain myself too when we're putting on the shows. And then so we put another title fight on the show, so we have 2 title fights on the show. And then what I did was I got the 2 best heavyweights in the country that are both signed with the Maximum Fighting Championship to fight each other. And it's not for a belt. They're the 2 best in Canada, right? Mm-hmm. Which my organization is a Canadian organization, but we're global. This is not, Canadian versus Canadian, American versus American. It's going to be the best fighters versus each other. It doesn't matter, where they come from.
Yeah, I actually asked my friends and family for a ticket to Edmonton so I could see this live. I thought that'd be a good birthday present, but apparently my friends and family do not love me that much, Mark.
That's a shame, but I'll tell you, if you make it out here, it'll be my pleasure for your birthday. I'll take care of your tickets for you.
All right, we'll figure that out then, Mark. I appreciate the offer. All right, yesterday we had the occasion to speak with both the participants in that middleweight title fight, champion Elvis Mutapcic against Sam Alvey. Both guys seemed really focused, seemed really ready to go. Was there any hesitation on your part to give Alvey a title shot right out of the gate, considering that the last time we saw Alvey, he was competing at welterweight on The Ultimate Fighter and was eliminated fairly quickly there?
But you know why? Because he's not a welterweight, and he killed himself to make that weight. But if you look at his record and you look at the people that he's beat, right, it's very justified, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. Sometimes these guys do stupid things. Now it's a very stupid move on his behalf, trying to make that weight back in the day. And now he's a legitimate 185er. He's won X amount of fights in a row. He's beat Yamasu, who everybody thinks is the next coming of whatever, and he beat him as well. So I mean, you gotta understand, man. People are not just given a title shot in the Maximum Fighting Championship. There has to be justification on the title shot, and there is justification, right? I know who this guy is. I know what his character is. And my job is, I'm a civil servant to the MMA community. I'm not one of these arrogant so-called MMA promoters. I'm a civil servant, which means that it's my job as a civil servant to give the fans exactly what they want. So what I do is I'm trying to find an opponent that's going to come forward against Elvis, which everybody knows what's going to happen if you come forward against Elvis. And the bottom line is that they both fight the same way. I don't think they're going to be cautious. I don't think they're going to be careful. This is going to be one of the best fights of the year in any organization on any place in the world. And everybody knows it. They just know it. You just tune in, buy your tickets, Ticketmaster.ca, do whatever you need to do to come and see this fight. And then after it's done, you tell me if I was wrong.
Absolutely. Alvey brings a ton to the table, and he's a really fun guy to talk to boot. But, to me, it almost seems like Elvis Mutapcic is almost kind of being overlooked coming into this fight, given all the media attention that's going towards Sam Alvey. But Mutapcic, he's the guy walking in there with the gold.
Well, don't forget, too, though, Alvey just married the girl that won the America's Next Top Model. Yeah. So, I mean, that probably helps why so many people want to talk to him, right? So, he just married her just like I think it was last week. There's the girl that a few seasons ago won America's Top Model. So, I mean, he's a pretty happy guy right now, and nothing better for him than just get married to a girl like that and then turn around and win the MFC Middleweight Championship. But like I said, people, if you're overlooking Elvis Mutapcic, it's ridiculous. To me, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the top 185. I mean, he's ranked the top 50 in the world. He's more like a top 30 guy. Striking-wise, no one's going to want to stand with him except for Sam Alvey. That's why I did the fight.
Yeah, I find Mutapcic to be a really interesting guy. I've had the chance to speak with him a couple of times now, and he's very nice, he's very polite, but he's got this kind of air about him where you figure he's almost just always one step away from killing you.
Yes, you know what? That's a great analogy, because when I met him, it was the same way. He was walking around almost borderline geekish. Like, he would walk around with his glasses, and he was really calm. But when he fights, you can see something's not right with him, right? That quietness about him walking around is one thing, but then when he gets in the game, the guy turns into a whole different human being. And you just got to, it's comical, because I said the same thing when I first met him. I'm like, who is this guy, right? And then after a while, you go, oh my God, like he just gets in the ring and he just turns into somebody else.
Absolutely. And also on the card, the lightweight title fight, Mukai Moromo taking on Graham Spencer for the title there. And this fight has some history behind it. Graham Spencer defeated Mukai Moromo back in 2010, and Moromo has not lost since and has been on a complete roller coaster since then. I mean, Moromo's stock just keeps getting higher and higher with every fight.
Well, listen, heaven forbid we all want to watch probably one of the most exciting fighters in the world, and a guy like Mukai Moromo, who is borderline, it's like watching a video game, like watching him fight.
Yeah.
The way he throws combinations and just at ease, and how, listen, most people know that he's probably one of the best strikers in the world in MMA. There's no question. Like, there's very few people that will stand and bang with Mukai Moromo, and that's a fact. So at the same time, as he's going to try to start working on the rest of his game, and, Graham Spencer's on the other coast, with Alpha Male working on his game. So, like I said, lightweight fight-wise, Mukai Moromo, he is the uncrowned prince. He had the belt. I mean, he beat Lynn. I mean, when he went in that title fight, and he didn't make weight. But, right now, Mukai Moromo, if there's anybody who's got a chip on his shoulder, it's got to be him.
Absolutely. And I found this quote from Graham Spencer interesting. He recently spoke with Full Contact Fighter, and he said, "To be honest, I think they think Mukai is going to beat me. I've got a win over him, and they just brought in Kurt Southern, who's got a win over him. So I think that they're expecting him to beat me and then fight Southern to be able to redeem his other loss, but I've got other plans in mind." What do you think about that?
I think it's ridiculous, right? I mean, if Graham says that, listen, everybody's under contract with the Maximum Fighting Championship, right? Graham's under contract. Mukai Moromo's under contract. I really don't care who wins. You know who I want to win? This is how selfish I am. I want the MFC to win, okay? Yeah. I don't care if Moromo wins. I don't care if Graham Spencer wins. I want the fans to win. I want our family to win. We deserve it, right? So the last thing I want is a boring championship fight, right? So that's the only thing that I'm concerned about. I want them to go out there and kill each other. Do you understand that? Like, I'm not even kidding. I want them to go out there and I want one guy at the hospital. I want one guy at the after party. I'm not even joking, right? It's like, that's what it has to come to now in this day and age. If you're coming to the MFC, man, you're coming here for one reason and one reason only, man. The rest of these scared fighters in Canada and the United States, the only reason why they're not in the MFC is because they're scared. That's the only reason. Because these guys want to pick their opponents, and they want to fight that type of game. Well, guess what? Guys like Graham Spencer and Mukai Moromo don't pick their opponents, right? They come here to fight. Guys like Elvis Muchacic doesn't do the same thing. Guys like Sam Alvey, go do a survey right now and ask how many 185ers right now want to go fight Elvis Muchacic. Go do a survey. Trust me, there won't be too many guys that want to fight him.
I wouldn't think so. But there has been some criticism of making the Moromo-Spencer fight in some circles, not because of they think it's going to be a bad fight or they think it's not going to provide a good entertainment for the dollar. I think everyone's in agreement on that. But when Graham Spencer was brought into the UFC, he was being promoted as an anchor to the featherweight division. Now he's had one fight at 145, and he's shuttled up to lightweight.
Yeah, and what did he do? He beat a guy that usually fights a guy like Shane Nelson, who usually fights at 155, and he tooled him. So that would justify a title shot that he just came in the division at 145, and then he does 155. Heaven forbid the guy's a little ambitious and wants to hold both belts. He could take the 145 belt, and he can win the 145 belt right now against Moromo, and then he could come back and fight for the 145-pound belt. That's how easy it could be for him. He could be the first person in MFC history to have both belts.
Well, that would be huge. And there's absolutely no confusion over weight classes when it comes to Mike Hackert and Smelino Rama. These guys are heavyweights. And Hackert coming off steamrolling Tim Hague, and Rama coming off a first-round submission victory over Ryan Fortin, and also holds a victory over the great Lee Meehan. So, like you said, these are the 1 and 2 number ranked heavyweights in Canada. Was there any thought to making this perhaps a heavyweight title fight? Because I can't think of anyone more deserving in Canada.
Listen, I love them both. I think they're both great athletes, but neither of them deserve a title shot. Neither of them do. Why? Because Rama beat two guys or whatever that are okay, middle of the road kind of guys, and then same with Hackert. I mean, he beat a Tim Hague, which is a better opponent. But what I'm trying to tell you is, this is going to decide. This is the level we're at, guys. Listen, I heard media guys on that we should make this for the title. Yeah, if I was Podunk Fighting Championships like the rest of 99% of the organizations in Canada, I would have done that. But of course, we're the MFC and the third biggest show in the world, not just in Canada, in the world, I won't do that. you will see whoever wins this fight, and they both know this too. If they sit there and lay on each other for 3 rounds, neither will be fighting for the title. Neither, right? So I'm in the process of signing way more heavyweights. So I mean, if one wins explosive and exciting, they'll be fighting for the title in May. If one wins very boring and compliant to the fans, trust me, there will be no title fight for either one of them.
I got to think they're going to provide fireworks, especially with a potential title shot in the offing. And there's 2 big middleweight matchups as well underneath the championship fight. Clay Davidson taking on Jason Zentgraf, and you're also bringing in UFC veteran Jay Silva into the fold to meet Leo Bercier. If one of these guys puts on a highlight reel performance, could we see them get a title shot in May or in the future?
Jay Silva, I think you're going to see Jay Silva at another planet right now. He's training with guys like Krzysztof Sosinski and Czech Congo, and he's training with those type of guys. And I'm telling you right now, I always knew that Jay Silva was a serious talent. The problem with Jay Silva was he had poor management. He didn't know when his next fight was. He was taking fights on extremely short notice, and that's the reason for his losses. Anytime that guy's ever had a chance to get ready for anything, he's done exceptionally well. Trust me right now, Leo Bercier better be extremely ready if he wants to face when he's going to face him, because Silva has had a full training camp probably for the first time in his life to get ready for a fight.
So if Jay Silva steamrolls Bercier, then would a potential title shot be in the cards?
If he mows him down in the first round and stretches him out, 100%.
All right, sounds good. Now, something I've always wondered about a guy with your job, as MFC president, how often do people stop you on the street or tweet you or whatever and say, "Oh, you really need to bring so-and-so into the MFC"?
Lots. It happens lots, but I'm still the guy that sits there and debates people about it all the time, because everybody's an expert in this field. And like I tell people, you arguing with me about MMA is like someone arguing Christmas with Santa Claus. You understand that I've been around in this business longer than anybody in this country. I've been running a show longer than anybody else. I was here when no one even knew what MMA meant. They didn't know what the initials meant, MMA. I had to explain that to people over and over again. That's what people fail to realize sometimes when they freshly get into this sport and they think that they invented something. I was here when nobody else was here. I was the only one doing this business, and people were looking at me like I was a Martian. Well, here I am 13 years later, and I'm still going strong.
Yeah. So when people make suggestions to you like that, is that, not in a combative way, but just saying, "Oh, I'd like to see such and such." Do you find that annoying more, or is that welcome feedback?
I don't find it annoying. I just find it sometimes people give great ideas, right? So I listen to them, and I take what they're saying, and but a lot of times it's like, some random fans are just, they want to see this guy or this guy, and it just doesn't make sense. And even there's guys locally that, they're supposed to be superstars in the shows that they're in. And the bottom line is that they wouldn't even make it on the undercard in the MFC. And they're the main event on these local shows.
Right. Well, I'm sure you've heard the news by now, Mr. Pavelich. It appears Score Fighting Series has gone kaput. That leaves a gaping hole in the Ontario MMA market, if that's the case, Mark.
I can't even believe you used the word gaping with the Score, because they never filled any hole. They were never really relevant. They were relevant probably in your part of the country, but, I mean, their viewership was brutal. Their attendance was even more brutal. Their fighter roster was mediocre at best. And people are like, "Mark, are you going to get any of their talent?" I'm like, who would I sign? Who would I sign from their organization in the Maximum Fighting Championship? There may be 1 or 2 kids that were on that show that I would be interested in. And the unfortunate part is they were probably from the United States, right? So, maybe that kid, Jesse Romson, he maybe would do okay here.
I think Ronson would do great. I'm a big body snatcher fan. You've also got guys like Josh Hill, Lyndon Whitlock. We do have some good talent out here in Ontario, Mark.
You take Josh Hill and you put everybody to sleep in the crowd. Go check his record, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're playing Moneyball MMA with the wrong guy. These guys like Josh Hill, go check his record. Decision. It's horrible. People don't want to watch that, man. They want to see high-paced MMA action in the Maximum Fighting Championship. They want to see things go 90 miles an hour here, and that's what they're seeing, right? I bring a guy like Josh Hill and manage to put everybody to sleep. I don't care where he's ranked. I don't care who he's fought. He's not an exciting fighter, right? Romson is an exciting fighter. I've looked at that kid. If there's anybody I would sign out of that batch, it would be that guy.
Well, we'll have to see how this all shakes out, but we've talked before about the difficulties of running in Ontario, how it's cost prohibitive. My main concern with Score Fighting Series shutting down, and we can argue the merits of SFS all we want to, but mainly is that with the current system in place here, with the current commission in place here, someone without major corporate backing can't fill the void now of MMA here in Ontario. I'm not saying won't fill the void. I'm saying can't the way it's set up. Would you agree with that?
I agree 100%. But the funny part is, same with when MFC did Caesars Windsor when we had 6,000 people there, right? Mm-hmm. Since that day, they've never had 6,000 people back in that venue. Same with when you have Casino Rama. Same thing, man. They don't sell that venue out. You know why? Because they want to bring in these American shows that nobody knows who they are. They don't know any of these fighters from Russia. They don't know any of these people. And listen, why not take the Smart Choice Rama and Smart Choice Caesars and go, you know what? Let's bring the MFC back. Heaven forbid they're the biggest show in the country. They're on Access TV and TSN and put them in our casinos. No, they want to take shows like Bellator that went in for half the amount of money the MFC did, and so they think I'm going to come back and do it for that? I'm not. I'm not going to go there until they go to the wayside.
So, you're an Ontario guy, though. It must frustrate you having to, run your business Alberta, and you do a great job at it, but look at your home province and look at how badly the sport is being mismanaged here.
Correct. You're 100% right. It's very disturbing to me. Like I said, you would think that people in Ontario, there would be some real intelligent people that get together and go, listen, let's figure a way to bring the MFC here. And, people saw my show at Caesars Windsor. They were astonished. They couldn't believe the level. They couldn't believe how professionally it was done. The media attention was absurd. And I'm telling you, if tomorrow someone said, Mark, let's sit down in Ontario, we're going to figure something out here, I would run to go put on another show there. So let's leave all the macho stuff aside. I would run to put a show on there. Run.
Could that happen under the current administration of the Ontario Athletic Commission headed by Ken Hayashi?
Well, you know what? Ken Hayashi was never the problem. Ken Hayashi was extremely professional to deal with. His wife, him, everybody. I'm not kidding. They really were. And the problem is that whoever came up with these fees and stuff, we have to, renegotiate those type of fees and those type of things because the fees are triple than anywhere else in the world. Yeah. Right? And it's like, well, why would they be triple for the same sport? I mean, that makes no sense. Right? And you're going to see it's going to diminish. You're going to see maybe 4 or 5 shows a year in Ontario. And that's going to be 2 UFCs, 2 Bellators. That's going to be it. That's going to be the duration of it.
Yeah, that seems to be the limit for the acceptance of the sport, not among the general fan base, not among the grassroots level, but among the people who are making the decisions. It's the same thing that happened in Vancouver. We've talked about this before. That they make it so cost prohibitive that only the UFC, only the bigger shows can come to town.
See, I'm an in-between show. I'm not the UFC, and I'm not the small show. I'm the middle show.
Yeah.
And so it's very dangerous for me because I'm in the mid-ground. So mid-ground me, I never want to be a small show. But to get to that next level, right, we've never brought in investors. We never done any of that. We don't want to do that. We bring in corporate sponsors to help our organization. But at the same time, it's just set up wrong. It's not set up properly. It's not cost efficient to do it. It's not.
No, I agree with you there, and hopefully we get that change because people in Ontario, the common folk, as what they call us, we're dying for more MMA here, and hopefully we can get that resolved. But in the meantime, we do have the amazing cards being put on by the MFC. The next one, MFC 36 Reality Check, again, February 15th at the Shaw Conference Center in Edmonton, Alberta, live on Access TV in the States. Do we have a date to when it'll air on TSN2 yet?
Yeah, basically 3 weeks later, it'll play on TSN2. And, if everybody's looking for tickets, go to Ticketmaster.ca. That's, we went back with Ticketmaster this year, and you can call our ticket hotline or go to our website at MaximumFighting.com.
Yeah, and you've also got a Super Bowl party in the offing.
Oh, I got a great Super Bowl party this Sunday, man. It's going to be awesome. I mean, it's going to be jam-packed, and there's no secret I love NFL football. And my dear friend Patrick Cote is going to be in town attending the event, and, it's going to be a great time. It's, the Marquee Mansion. It's one of the nicest places in Edmonton, if not the nicest. And it's my personal Super Bowl party.
And it'll be a great one, and it'll be a great show on February 15th as well. Mark, thank you as always for joining the program. Tell the people where they can find you and the MFC on Twitter, on the internet, and the social media universe, and any other thank yous or shout-outs. This is your time, my friend.
Okay, well, listen, everybody, tune in February 15th, Maximum Fighting Championship 36 Reality Check. the #1 fighting organization in the country is going to do it again. Go to Ticketmaster.ca, our website at MaximumFighting.com, our Twitter at MaximumFighting, or my personal one at Mark Pavelich. And you can tune in anywhere and updates all the time, guys. Just keep following us and keep paying attention.
There you have it, the Black Prince of MMA, Mark Pavelich, here on In the Cage with Bards on NextSportsStar.com. And we'll be back with more MMA action right after this.
Fly up high in the